another episode of Watch with Ray from the Booze, Boobs, and Blood podcast. I'm Ray. I'm Weenless. That's Ween is not joining me on this episode. But tonight I'm here to talk to you about the first episode of The Last of Us because I finally fucking watched it. So, aren't you excited? Aren't you excited? Don't be. I don't have a lot to say about it, and it was super long, so we're gonna and I've already recorded this like 4 times, so we're gonna run through this. That's horrible of me to say, but it's happening, guys. It's happening. So let me just get this out of the way. I have not played the game. I know tangentially what the story is about, but have no clue. It's the perfect person to watch this and review it. So the only thing I know is that I enjoy Pedro Pascal. So I do have some questions, some questions that we will get to. First off, so let's talk about the episode. So I'm pulling up my you know, the Bible, IMDb, so I know who is whom and what is what. Let me pull up the episode guide. So our first episode is When You're Lost in Darkness. Cover me. Okay. You don't need me to sing? I mean, I'd love to sing, but you don't want to hear it right now. So we open with two scientists, like the 70s, thinking back about to it. It's like Frost. What was his first name? Is it David Frost? David Frost. Like a David Frost interview, like better than like I love him, but Johnny Carson, something like that. Like because Johnny Carson's like interviewing stars and celebrities. This in this instance, we are interviewing a scientist about like what could possibly like what do these two scientists see could wipe out humanity. And the one scientist, I'm gonna get his name wrong, is it's Christopher Heyerdahl. In his the character's name is Dr. Schunhes. He's pretty much along the lines that it will be a virus. How right he was. Um and then we have another doctor by Dr. Newman, played by John Hannah. Love John Hannah. I love him. Y'all know him from The Mummy. So you know him from he's the brother of what's her face's character. Hot Mrs. Bond. What the hell's Rachel Weisz. And he's awesome. He's just awesome. What he says is that this what he anticipates will be a fungus. And there's a certain fungus, and it's true. It's called the Ophiocordifeps. Okay, get ready, buckle up. Ophiocordifeps. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. I only got the second part. It's a fungus that turns ants into zombies. So if you look that up, though, it's pretty gnarly pictures of some horrible looking zombies or ants who become zombies. But there's a history with that, like of some sort of root or pretty much a virus or something like a bacteria. Like if I remember correctly, I could be completely wrong. I know that like what in movies like White Zombie and even in The Serpent and the Rainbow is a lot. There's like a root or some sort of powder that has like effects that will create quote unquote zombies. They will like break down your nervous system and kind of like cut your respiratory system down to like nothing, so it almost seems as if you're dead. So there's things out there that can do this. It's not like a far off, weird, you know, otherworldly idea. Um, but that's his idea of what's going to happen. Okay. So we get 3 title cards. We get 3 time jumps in this episode. That's the first one. So you're thinking like 1970s. And then we jump to 2003 with Joel Miller and his absolutely gorgeous. This little girl is just beautiful. Joel Miller and his daughter Sarah, and it's Joel's birthday. And Sarah is played by Nico Parker. And I'm looking to see what she's been in. Dumbo? Not a lot, but she's young. I mean, that's pretty much Reminiscence. I don't know what that is. Who's even in that? Oh, it's Hugh Jackman. Oh, he's looking good in that movie. Hello. Okay, that's from 2021. So there you go. Has a 5.9 on Rotten Tomatoes. So better than the movie I'm gonna review tonight. The other movie I'm doing. Yay! What? All right. Anyhow, so it's Joel's birthday, and we learn that Joel is 36 years old because guess what? He tells us that. So, all right. I apologize. I have a very sore throat. So Sarah, so he's also working at construction. So he and his brother Tommy, played by Gabriel Luna. I mean, Pedro is real hot in this. I want to say I love that Pedro Pascal is coming into his own. I love it. He's such a freaking amazing actor. And it's kind of like Adam Driver. I like then when Adam Driver is recognized for how awesome he is. And so it's the same thing here. Like I love when good actors, and yes, I personally I think Adam Driver is very good looking too. But I love that it's like people are loving him. I do, but also realizing that he's a fucking amazing actor too. So what I did realize, or I did find out recently, is that he kind of like shut the shit down on the daddy talk, which I kind of thought, okay, I hate the word daddy, really do hate it. But when he said something, he's like, "Hey, mama," back to somebody, I lost it. I lost all functions in my face, in my hands, and my body. But somebody tried to bring it up to him on like the Mandalorian red carpet. He's like, "Yeah, no, we're not talking about that now," because and everyone was like, "Why would he?" I was like, "Because it's a Disney show. It's for children." Like, no, that's not. I mean, like he literally, there's video of him talking to children on this red carpet, and you're bringing up wanting to do like daddy, tweets, wanting him to read like the dirtiest daddy tweet about him. I'm like, you all need what is that? You need Jesus. Like, I'm not so much that, but like, come on, guys, let's. So I think he's fucking tired of it. So if I got a PSA out there, let's just knock it off with him. Just enjoy him for who he is, for being Pedro Pascal. But yes, also Gabriel Luna is in this too. Gabriel Luna, he tons of stuff. I mean, I don't of course, when I'm sitting here, nothing is popping in my head right now. Where is he? There he is. Known for Terminator Dark Fate, Angels, he's Ghost Rider in Agents of Shield. A lot of TV stuff, but they're brothers in this episode. And so yeah, we found out he's 36 and they both work in construction, and Joel promises Sarah, "I'll be home by 9 tonight. I gotta work a double. There's a chance that I can make some more money. I gotta do it." And we learned there's no mom. We don't know what happened to Sarah's mom. It's fine. We don't need to. We have this first part here is about 30 minutes. And I'm gonna say right now, this is a fucking kick-ass 30 minutes. I wish the rest of the whole series was like this fucking 30 minutes. It's awesome. What I really enjoy about this 30 minutes, so let me keep going, and I'll tell you why I really enjoyed this. So Sarah takes a bus into Austin because it's Austin, Texas, and she takes Joel's watch, and she has it fixed. And as she's getting it repaired, the watch repairman's like, there's all these police cars and everything like speeding by, fucking speeding. And he's like, it's been like this all day. And all of a sudden his wife comes in. She's like, we're close. We're closing. She'll finish your watch tomorrow. He's like, no, I'm done. Here, take it. And they literally just close it up. I mean, it's, I think they said it's 4:00 and they don't close till 7. Something's happening. But Sarah heads home and she's hanging out with her neighbors who they're like this elderly couple. I don't know if they're brother and sister. And then they have this, I was called her Granny. You got Granny who lives with them and they take care of her. She's definitely like in a plegic state, like of some sort. Like she can't move. I guess I would say vegetative state. Like she doesn't move her arms. She has to be fed. I bring that up because as they're making, so Sarah and this Mrs. Adler are making cookies. And as she's like checking things out in the bookcase, Sarah is behind her. You can see in the foreground, or sorry, in the background, because Sarah's in the foreground. In the background, it's blurry. It's almost like you're using the portrait mode on your phone. So in the background, it's pretty blurry back here, and you can see this like this Granny's face contorting, and she's kind of shaking, and she's doing all this weird stuff, and her face is contorting. It's wild. That part was creepy. I have to say that was creepy. So anyhow, when Sarah leaves, there's Granny just sitting there again, kind of like back in her stasis mode. Just chilling like a villain. Waiting for Alex Jones to come on. No one's waiting for Alex Jones to come on ever. Waiting for him to get off this planet. Anyhow, when the aliens come to get him politically, because that's what he always says. I'm gonna kill them politically. He's a douchebag. Anyhow, so she goes back home. She's waiting for her dad. Joel finally shows up at 10:00, so he's late. He forgot to pick up his own cake, and then they fall in. It's very cute. He and Sarah fall asleep on the couch watching television, and he gets a phone call from Tommy. Tommy got arrested because he started to fight with somebody. I'm sure a drunken brawl. So he's like, fuck. He has to go. I mean, this is around midnight. He's got to go pick him up from jail. So I'm trying to speed through. This is an hour and a half, guys. This first episode is an hour and a half, and then everyone after that, I believe, is like 52 minutes. So, bear with me because I'm bearing with myself. Cocaine bear. Anyhow, I'm just word associating at this point. So he puts Sarah to bed before he leaves, and she wakes up by herself. Like, well, she wakes up because there's like helicopters flying pretty low, like low level helicopters and planes flying over her house. There's gunshots going off down the street. She's like, the fuck is happening? And so she wakes up and she kind of like, she goes downstairs, and the neighbor's dog, the Adler's dog, is there at her door and like kind of like, hey, what up? Can I come in? Please, 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 please. Because these people are fucking nuts. So she's like, no, you got to go home. Fido, I don't remember the dog's name. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. But the dog pieces out. She's like trying to drag him back, and he's like, no. I am out skis. And so he heads for the hills, and the door is open to the house. So she walks right in, just sit right down. She slides on in, because as she's walking into the kitchen, I just slipped on something. What is it? Oh fuck, it's blood. And she looks up, looks in the corner, and there's the Mr. Adler is like holding a wound, and he's like, help me. And so she starts walking over to them, sliding in the blood, looks over, there's Granny just eating Mrs. Adler, just chomping away as if it were like the fucking blue light special. Is that what that is? Blue plate special. Blue light special used to be at Kmart. Y'all don't remember Kmart because I'm old. But there's blue plate special was for old people. Yeah, like that. She was making her liver into a, I don't know. Anyhow, what I actually rewound this a couple times because this shot is really cool. Granny's mouth, Granny shoots up and she's like, the fuck's here? And her mouth opens up and you can tell, like, I could not tell if it was hair from Mrs. Adler, like she had been eating and like her hair got stuck in Granny's mouth. That was what was sticking out, or if it was spores that were coming out of her mouth, which I would hazard a guess it was probably the spores. Either way, it's creepy as fuck. Creepy as fuck. She screams and leaves, and as she's running out the door, we get Tommy and Joel come barreling up in their truck, and luckily just in the nick of time, because out comes Granny, and we got 28 days later zombies, guys. They're fast as fuck, and so Granny comes like doing that crap walking shit, was running out, and Joel just beats her to death with a hammer. And he looks back at Sarah, and I'm only bringing this up because he looks back at Sarah, and Sarah has lost it. She is just openly just sobbing, and she's confused. We're confused as the viewer because this is what I love about this part, this beginning part. I don't know what's happening. They don't know what's happening. And it's just like you're there, like you're also experiencing. I too do not know what's happening. This is amazing. I love this. Like I have no preconceived ideas of what's happening. I love it. It's great. Cool. Awesome. And so this next 10-minute section gave me so much anxiety. Like I was sick to my stomach through this whole thing, because this is like, I know it's not one shot, but it feels like it. Like it just feels the way they've done this. They have filmed it. It's like one thing after the next, after the next, after the next. It's an action scene, definitely, but it feels like, I don't know, it's just so well choreographed. So Tommy's driving, and they're trying to get out of town. Every time they like hit another road, it's blocked by police or the army or other people trying to get out of town. So they're like, let's go to Mexico. Let's find a way just to get out and go to Mexico. Fine. Okay. So finally, it's havoc. It's just running amok. And the truck ends up getting into an accident because they're backing up. At some point they're going forward, and then there's shit happening in front of them. So then they go in reverse, and there's all kinds of shit happening behind them, so they get stuck. And at one point something flips and comes into and I don't remember what it was, but it crashed into the back of the car enough that the truck is done. Sarah's hurt her ankle. She hurt her ankle. Joel and Sarah are now separated from Tommy because they're like on two sides of this flaming truck. And so Tommy's like, I'll meet you at the river. Just get to the river. We'll go, maybe at the river. And just get down there. We'll meet. We'll go to Mexico from there. There's fast zombies coming after them. They make it to, like, we can see the river in the distance. And out of nowhere, this army man, the soldier, I'm so glad I know terms of things. Mojave Desert. And he shoots all the zombies, and then he has his gun trained on Joel and Sarah, and Joel's like, no, she hurt her ankle. She's not sick. We're not sick. And the soldier's like, radioing in, and he goes, I'm sorry. And he just fucking shoots him. He just shoots both of them, just sprays them with bullets. Enough that Joel drops Sarah. And as the soldier's coming over to like finish them off, Tommy comes and shoots the soldier. And this is where I sobbed. I fucking sobbed, guys. I cannot even tell you this part, because Joel got it in the legs or something like that. Like, he can still maneuver. He didn't get, I think he might have gotten in the shins. he murdered Sarah. Like they murdered Sarah, and Sarah dies in Joel's arms. Just Pedro Pascal just scream crying and it's just and wailing. I literally couldn't. And that wonderful actress she did such a good job, and it was awesome / awful. Anyhow, so yeah, I cried. Thanks, The Last of Us, awesome. All right, then we now fast forward 23 years in the future, guys. 23. So remember I said Joel is 36 years old? We're 23 years in the future. You mean to tell me I love Pedro Pascal? I think I've already said it like 14 times in this episode. You gonna put some baby powder in his hair and make me believe that bitch is almost 60 years old. He's 59 years old and has survived 23 years in a post-apocalyptic world with at least I don't know how many gunshots to the leg. Not just like surviving, like pretty like baller surviving. Whatever TV show, whatever, like fine, cool. There's no way. There's no possible way he would be alive still. Also, with the death of his daughter, grief PTSD? No, I don't think so. Anyhow, the anxiety and depression probably would have gotten him a long time ago. So now we get to all of the big cities pretty much have been across America have been taken over by made by it's Fedra, Federal Emergency Department of something. I don't know. It's FEMA. It's evil FEMA. I mean, I guess that's it. Evil FEMA. Feeble. Female. There we go. Female. And the first thing we see is we're at Boston, and we see this little boy come like trundling out of the woods, and he kind of like very like you could tell he's either like dying or he's just exhausted, and he comes up to this like this QZ, this quarantine zone, and just collapses out front of it. So they bring him in, and the next shot is they bringing him in a wheelchair. And I knew it was going to happen right away, because as soon as the one police officer says, we're going to get you all the toys that you ever play with and all the food, I was like, oh, they're going to kill him. Okay. And they scan him, and then she says, oh, we're going to get you all the toys you ever wanted. I was like, oh, he's fucking dead. And they bring him in, and they shoot him in the arm with something. They give him an injection, and we next see him being thrown into an ash barrel where they're burning bodies. So, yep, we've entered the I don't know what's happening now. I mean, I know what's happening, but this is the game, and I don't know what's happening. So, guess what? I don't learn much by the end of this either. Yay! And not through like not paying attention, because I was trying. So, we also learn, okay, so Joel is selling drugs. Here's the thing. I don't understand what's happening here. He's selling drugs to buy a truck from the person he's selling drugs to. And then his lady friend has a battery that she sold but wants to get it back. I don't know. Because guard that Joel's selling this drugs to says, hey, stay off the roads tonight because the fireflies, there've been higher firefly incidences. Whatever the fuck that means. Well, I find out what it is. But supposedly fireflies are these like insurgent groups, or like non-conform, or like a rebellion groups. The Red Squadron. And So I guess that they have been targeting a lot of the Fedra sites and blowing them up. So, Oh, we next see Tess, Anna Torv, Olivia from Fringe. Yay! If anybody watched Fringe, I loved Fringe. Um, she plays his lady friend, and for some reason she's getting her ass beat. Cool. At one point, the head of the group that's beating her up is like, don't tell your man that this happened. Can you just tell him that, like, you got jumped? Because if he finds out, he's gonna beat me. And she's like, no, I'll just tell him that, like, I just got jumped and it's fine. Because I guess someone stole the battery from her. I don't know. I fucking don't know. But they need the battery, but she was trying to sell it. I don't know. Here's all I know is I don't have a good feeling about Tess. I feel like Tess is gonna be a bad guy at some point. I know that she's only like on 3 episodes, so I don't think she's long for this world of anything. Um then we move to Veronica. Hey Veronica. Shout out to my co-host for CLBC, Veronica. We have Veronica, who is just chilling, shackled into like an apartment building in Boston. And like a nature has taken over and destroyed a post-apocalyptic Boston. Like as you do, like a regular fucking Tuesday. And so we got this like 13, 14-year-old girl. I don't know. I can't. Ages are hard. And she's pissed because, well, I would be. From what we understand, is she was kidnapped from the Fedra military base or military school, where she had been orphaned. We also learn that Tommy is still alive, so Gabriel Luna is out there being hot somewhere. But they haven't heard from him in 3 weeks. So Joel is on a tear to go find out what's going on with Tommy. He needs to find out what's happening with Tommy. They're trying to decide what to do because somebody has a battery for a truck that they don't have. So whatever. Tess comes in, and then we find out that they're together. That's how we find it, because she comes in, she sleeps with him. Luckiest woman on the planet. And she then tells Joel that Robert question mark has the battery for the truck. Cool. So someone stole the battery from her, then sold it. But I don't know. But at one point she said she was trying to sell it. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, fucking doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. There's too much in this fucking episode that's like, all of this don't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Anyhow. So Marlene is a firefly. We find out it's who's holding Ellie. So the fireflies are holding Veronica / Ellie. They find out that she tells her what she really is, and they're going to take her to Salem, Massachusetts. Yeah. And at the same time, Joel and Tess, they want to get their battery so they can go get Tommy. So they're gonna go find Robert. Again, with the secret and Marlene telling that to Ellie, that's all off screen. I guess what the fuck it was, because duh. Like I'm again I never played the game, but I'm assuming y'all know that she's the vaccine, because she's had the virus and she lived. So they have to go through these like tunnels. I don't know where I should look to see where they filmed this. It does not, there's nowhere in it do I feel Boston. Like I don't feel, even I know yes it's taken over. There's so much CGI. I don't even feel like this is Boston. And I don't know. I'm not getting, it feels like a soundstage. It feels like a set. And they're down in this basement of this building because they're gonna sneak up at some point and go get Robert and get this battery. Oh, so they get an awesome jump scare. There's one thing a pro for this show. that rhyme. Is the awesome practical effects in this show. The creature design is fucking beautiful. I didn't mention it when it came up, but the opening credit sequence is beautiful. It's disgustingly beautiful. That's like I love to see it, but all of the creature effects in this show, they're disgustingly beautiful. If you do not like spores, molds, and fungus, I collect spores, molds, and fungus. Print is dead. Then you will probably not like the creatures in this, but I think they're beautiful. Just because if you in this scene alone here, so the opening sequence, the spores and the molds are growing, and they grow into like look like they're cities, building up. It's really gorgeous, and it's very reminiscent of like houses title sequence, because it was like going through blood and stuff like that, and a little bit of oh, there's another one where there's like things growing over, and I want to say it might even be True Blood, just because of like there's shots of things decaying, in like sped up of that. But this jump scare down in the basement is awesome. It looks like the spores have taken over someone. He'd been infected in the basement, or he had been infected and gone down to the basement and died. But I actually stopped the recording. I stopped the show and rewound, and just I tried to zoom as much as I could to see. I wanted to see the like someone spent so much time doing this and making crafting this. I was like, I want to appreciate this, because I don't know if the show's gonna appreciate it as much as like you should, because the work that they put into it, like the different kinds of fungus that are on the body. Like here in the chest cavity, there's like this conical sort of spore it's really cool. And then the other ones look more along the lines of like that the mold or the spore that like kind of like branches out like blood vessels. And then some of it looks like mushrooms. It's beautiful. People are gonna hate at me about like calling it beautiful, but it is. Again, someone worked really hard on that. Someone worked really hard on that. So do washing machines. Anyhow, they Joel and Tess come up, and they come to find out where they're at is the same building that Marlene's holding Ellie. So, and it's somewhere between them breaking into the building and between Marlene telling Ellie who she really is and them breaking into the building, there's a firefight with Fedra, and Marlene and some of her like underlings have been shot. So Marlene is bleeding out. She's blowing out. She's bleeding out, and she asks Tess and Joel to take Ellie with them and get them to another Firefly outpost. And those people at the outpost will give them a car. They will make sure that they can get Tommy, because everyone at this point knows that fucking Tommy's gone, and that's what Joel's looking for Tommy. Ellie does not want to go with Joel and Tess. Joel does not want to take Ellie. Tess, weirdly, this is why I'm like, I don't trust Tess. Tess like doesn't ask questions at all. And they were like, yeah, we'll take her. And Joel's like, the fuck? So they take, they take her home because they're gonna leave under the cover of darkness. They take her back to Joel's apartment. Tess goes out to do fuck all. I don't know. Get supplies, I guess. Do shady shit. I don't know. And Joel falls asleep because he's like, I gotta, we're gonna be up all night. You should get some rest. And while Ellie's just kind of, spanking around, she looks and she finds this big book of I really like this. This was a really cool part. Is these book of like #1 hits from all through the decades. And there's a piece of paper that's in there, and it's written like the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And the 70s, I could not, and I should have gone back and looked this up, and I apologize I didn't. But each, like, if there's a song that comes over the the CB radio, then they know it means it signifies something. And so when Joel wakes up, Ellie goes, "Your radio came on when you were asleep." And he goes, "Well, what was it?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, your code." She goes, "Well, the song was like, wake me up before you go." Oh, and she figures out, she's like, "Oh, 80s mean troubles ahead. Cracked your code." It was really cute. It was very cute. Like, she's a pretty smart cookie. Um, and so we know that when an 80s song comes over the radio, oh fuck, we're thinking that the radio is from Tommy, because supposedly it's supposed to be radio signals from Tommy. So we know that things are not good out wherever he's at. They leave. They're under the cover of darkness, like I said, and they get pretty far until they run across that guard, the guard that told him, "Hey, fucking stay off the streets. Fireflies, bad tonight." And he gets them down on the ground, and he has them like put their hands on their head, and he's scanning them. He doesn't make it. He only makes it to Ellie, because she's the first one, and she stabs him the fuck in the leg, and he's gonna blow her away. And Joel comes up and just beats him to death. And he looks over at Ellie, and I said, "This is why I brought this up before, because this is the second time he's beat someone to death." And he looks at Ellie, and Ellie has this almost like prideful look. Like, it's very much like impressed. Like, this guy's gonna take care of me, or he's gonna protect us. Look, like, fuck yes. Um, so it's very different. And I don't think he knows how to handle that, because he's looking to her like, oh shit, what is her reaction going to be? Because the last time this happened in front of a child was when my daughter died. So this is like throwing him off a little bit. But I do like the chemistry between the two of them. Those two do have chemistry. Like, he and they have like dad child chemistry, like a relational chemistry. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Like, they scamper off. They go off, and now like one of them's up for murder. I mean, they murdered a federal employee, so he's a female employee. Okay, I'm not gonna female. He's female. He's a female. Nope, that's too close to female. And not a funny joke. Anyhow, yeah. So I have some things to say. If you couldn't gather, if I had to break this, if I had to give this, and I didn't, I don't know if I did this. I didn't do this interview with the vampire because I liked all of them. All right. If I hadn't recorded this 4 times, I hadn't watched it, hadn't spent an hour and a half on it, ooh, I might not have stuck. If it didn't have Pedro Pascal in it, I probably wouldn't stick with it. I'm very tired of zombies. This whole thing has Walking Dead vibes all the fuck over it. Down to the fireflies remind me of, was it Negan? The guy with the bat with the thing on it, at the barbed wire. And I even get that far. I got into like maybe the 3rd season of Walking Dead, and I was like, peace. And I read the comic book. I had the giant anthology. I had the compendium of those comics, and I was just like, peace out. I am fucking zombied out. Done. That zombie. I mean, like, so yeah. Little zombies. Yep. But if I had to give this a grade, I'd actually give it 2. I would give the first 30 minutes of this show a fucking A. That was awesome. I love being, I mean, I'm already in the fucking dark, and the fact that everybody's in the dark together is brilliant. 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 This other half, I'm gonna say a B. And that's really for the fucking design and the chemistry between Joel and Ellie, which we only see at the very end, and it's very fleeting. But I like those two characters together, and that could also be because I've seen interviews with them, and they're so adorable together. And so I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm not super excited, but yay! Maybe it'll get better. I'm sure it'll get better. This was just not my bag. This is not my bag, guys. Zombies are not my thing. Um, although I do love Dead Alive, but those are kind of different zombies because they're like barely dead. Anyhow, I don't know. Whatever. I'm just trying to make it. I'm not making sense. All right. So on that note, we are going to be recording this weekend. We're going to be recording Grabbers and Plague Town because this is the second half of March and we couldn't decide what we wanted to do. So the first half of March was Women's History Month and Women's or International Women's Month, and then the second half is St. Patrick's Day. Yay! So we already released last week Saint Maud and Babadook. So if you want me losing my fucking mind for an hour and a half, well, 2 hours, but yeah, Saint Maud, I would say both of them. Second rewatch of Babadook, you know, there's a lot to talk about. Saint Maud, same thing. It's not what I expected, nor is it gonna. It wasn't great, but you'll be talking about it for sure. And the last 2 seconds of it, fucking brilliant. Let's see. You can find us at our website, Booze, Boobs, and Blood podcast at gmail.com. Oh, that's our email. Our website is booze, boobs, and blood podcast.com. You can find us on Twitter. We barely use it, but we're there. I barely use Instagram, but I'm there. Yeah, and we have a TikTok that we don't use because, as I call it, the devil's app. All right. So if you if you have conspiracy theories or if you have something you want to say, please, feel free to leave a comment or email me and tell me what a dickhead I am. I don't know, whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm probably going to ignore it. Like I ignored all the people who bitched about a comment I made on a video. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just being polite. But everyone's got a fucking thing up their ass because they're people and everyone has an opinion. Anyhow, all right. So I will say to you, stay spooky.